All right. Hey, everybody.
Hello.
Heyo.
So, yeah, I fixed all the audio issues and all the technical issues.
Don't say that. Don't. Oh God. Oh, we're screwed.
I
We're so screwed.
Rip screen.
We're all in trouble now.
I know all the rules
Oh,
of the
geez.
game. It's going to be great,
Great.
great time tonight. How about you guys?
I didn't fix anything. I don't know much, but here to have a good time. So.
Same here. I had not one, but 2 naps today. It was awesome.
Naps are great. I was like,
That is
I woke up at like 8 a.m. I was like, oh, I'm going to need to take a nap. Then 4 hours later, I'm like, I'm going to need to take a nap. And then an hour later, I'm like, I'm going to need to take a nap. So I got like a 20-minute nap, but it's going to be enough.
I mean, is that napping or is that mono?
I just had a really long day.
I didn't have a nap, but my kid was sleeping over at his grandparents last night, so I slept in for the first time since 2015.
Well, happy Father's Day to you then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
great
thanks.
news.
It's pretty great. Slept until 9:30.
Nice.
Sweet.
Nice. Normally it's, I imagine, like 5 a.m. or something.
Yeah. But he's up usually between like 6:30 and 7 every day.
Nice. All right. So, did you guys want to talk about random bullshit or E3?
E3 happened. What is the game that everyone is most looking forward to from it?
Can somebody explain to me the Mario throwing his hat thing?
Mario throws his hat.
Apparently he like becomes the person who was wearing his hat for some reason. I don't know.
I've seen a bunch of tweets like commenting on it in hilarious ways, but they haven't clarified for me what the game actually is.
Turns out Mario was the hat the entire time, and he was possessing some poor Italian plumber for years.
Got it.
Or maybe it's a new thing? Because Bowser also has a hat.
Does he?
Interesting.
It's a very classy top hat.
I was thinking if Bowser had a hat, it would probably be that.
Yeah.
That is cool.
Maybe a bowler. Bowser could pull off.
Yeah, I could. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And they said bowler and a Tommy gun. Nintendo would never allow that, but still.
Whenever I've seen cartoons in the past with mind-controlling hats, they always came in pairs.
How many? Is that a thing? Is that a?
Yeah.
I'm looking it up on the Trope website now because it's a thing I need to know.
It turns out there's a whole like genre of anime about mind controlling hats.
Probably. Okay, those are tinfoil hats.
Yeah, and mind control.
Tinfoil hats actually amplify mind control beams. Why is his dog wearing a... There's a picture of a guy with a tinfoil hat, and his cat also has a tinfoil hat.
I told you, they come in pairs.
I guess so. I watched most of E3 live online with my roommates, and when I saw the Mario Rabbids crossover game, I was like, what is this game? What is this game? This looks awful. And by the end, I was like, why do I want this game so badly? XCOM,
It's because you're not wearing your tinfoil hat. Nintendo has beamed that directly into your brain.
Perhaps you could be right. It might also be in addition because I have 160 hours in XCOM 2 and 594 hours in XCOM 1.
What about Terror from the Deep?
We don't talk about that.
Okay.
So I haven't really gotten to Xenonauts, but that's the original XCOM. That is 26 hours. Oh, I thought it'd be less. Never mind. 26 hours in that too.
Hmm. I gotta play
Yeah.
XCOM 3 sometime. I know it's a
The-
terrible game, but the art looks so good.
You mean the original XCOM 3?
Yeah. XCOM Apocalypse.
Yeah,
Yeah. It looks terrible, but
I love the new XCOMs. I haven't been able to get into the old ones. They're just totally different.
I've been working on
more-
a XCOM Shadowrun crossover. It's gonna be so good. You gotta do a
that could work.
Shadowrun on an alien mothership.
That could work.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
I can stat up the cyber drones. Cyber disk says drones, and
Well, look into the remake of XCOM 2, because that's the whole thing is that it's not you're doing a Shadowrun for profit or anything. You're a rebel organization, but you are effectively doing Shadowruns.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think it would be great.
So that would be a lot of good inspiration. That would be cool.
This will be the next one shot I write up.
We can get a decent magic system in the Powered by the Apocalypse Shadowrun game, because there are some Powered by the Apocalypse Shadowrun games. I just haven't found them to be very good. Because the Sprawl is not magic. Sprawl is not Shadowrun.
They're not Shadowrun, really. I mean, nothing is Shadowrun but Shadowrun.
Has anybody played the
Yeah.
Veil?
Sounds familiar. What's it about again?
It came out at the same time as the Sprawl.
Yeah, it's billed as a post Cyberpunk thing. I don't know.
Yeah,
if
this sounds really familiar to me.
Simon, who hangs out in Mass Squad sometimes, is the author.
Yeah, I saw the Kickstarter for this.
Yeah. I don't know if it has magic or not though. I'm not familiar enough with it, but yeah, there aren't that many games that really go for the tech plus magic thing. I mean, can you do that in just straight up Apocalypse World?
In Apocalypse World itself, because there's so how to put this, Apocalypse World is about not having enough. It's about
right
starvation. I'm blanking on the actual word that I'm thinking of. And Cyberpunk is kind of the opposite in that. It's when society has too much in a way, it has enough to do whatever it wants. How does that affect people?
Right.
So it can probably do similar stuff in Apocalypse World, because you can, you have the Hocus and stuff. But yeah, Shadowrun is very that's the exact word I was blanking on. Yeah, you lost your video. But yeah, Apocalypse World is about scarcity. Cyberpunk it can be about scarcity, but it's about a very different society.
Right.
It's a society of excess.
Yeah. I wanna play a game that's like an entry game. Have you guys read the Culture series?
I haven't heard of it.
I haven't read it, but I'm familiar with it.
It's like a post. It's exactly that thing that you're talking about, Primark. It's like a post scarcity economy. Everything's run by AIs.
Mm-hmm.
It's really interesting.
Cool. There is a post-scarcity game made by the guy who Stars with a Number, Kevin Crawford. I think it's technically set. It's in Stars with a Number, but it's if you want your sector to be fully post-scarcity, you can have that. And currency is basically reputation that you can spend. It's full. You can. It's transhumanist as well, so you can change your body as you want to, as long as you. Yeah, it's
cool.
It's really cool. So, yeah.
Yeah, the culture is really weird. Usually it gets referenced because the ship names are really sarcastic.
I love the ship names. They're so good.
Yeah, so Google culture ship names, and then you'll get a sense of the tone of the series. because
This is
they're
the
really
Spacecraft and Culture
sarcastic,
series.
but also
those are ship
Serious
types.
Circle
Here we
of
go.
Gravitas. It's a good one.
Yeah,
No
I think
More Mr. Nice Guy is one.
I read some of Consider Phlebas or whatever the first one
Mhm.
is, but I actually never finished it.
hmm,
Does it get
Youthful
better after that?
Indiscretion.
They're weird. I don't know if I love them, but I don't know if they're actually good novels. Because they're I don't know, like they're not really Ian M. Banks doesn't really do plot. Like
hmm.
stuff
That's what was bothering me about it. I was like, what am I supposed to be following here? What is
right,
going
yeah.
on?
Like stuff just happens to the characters, and because everything is ultimately controlled by these basically omniscient AIs, like there isn't much that's in the control of the actual heroes. It's sort of
Yeah.
this like they're in this location and this stuff happens, and then they struggle with that, and then like they're in this other location and this other thing happens, and it's interesting stuff, but I don't know if it didn't really feel like it had momentum to me. I don't know if that's what you were getting at.
Yeah. It's more of a. I guess momentum is probably the best way to put it. Yeah, it was just like, and it constantly shifted back and forth, and it never really connected between the people that were being discussed.
Yeah.
Yeah, still, it's really cool to look at.
Sweet.
All right, so let's finish our character sheets. Unless you got more stuff you want
Let
to talk
us
about.
do exactly that.
All right.
Indeed.
So where we let off last time, let me get this on the stream for people. We had figured out estate properties and bonds and afflictions, and I guess that was basically it. We talked a lot about our Imperator, who is a devil.
Mm-hmm.
I guess basically they want the party to steal beautiful works of art because they're so crippled they no longer can do so themselves. They can no longer create art, which is kind of sad, but
Yeah, I love the brainstorming you did, Golden. After our last session, I think everything that is there in terms of like what the Chancel is like and what the Imperator is like, I'm excited about. It's super cool.
thanks. Yeah, I don't know if
Sweet.
everyone had a chance to look at this. It's the last page. It's untitled. But basically, I tried to just imagine what a being that was defined by the three things: wanderlust, sadism, and dinosaurs would be like. I mean,
congratulations for trying to get your head around that. That's
Yeah. Yep.
it was actually a lot easier than I thought it would be. I just the things closer to the center are things that are more core, and then there are things outside that only have to do with dinosaurs, or only have to do with sadism, or only to do with wanderlust. While the things inside are like shared between it, like I desire to travel, but I cannot. Kind of in between wanderlust and sadism. I'm just trying to find a crossover between all that. For the Chancel, I just kind of threw ideas out there. I got this idea of like a real primitive world. Because I think one of the things we talked about with the Imperator, I think it's one of his bubbles. No, it's not. But I thought it was they're very natural, like back to nature kind of feeling.
Mm-hmm.
So I think like a very primitivist culture that's still. Yeah, your audio's fine. That still has like elements of modern day to it. Would be perfect. So how chancels are formed is that the Imperator, when he enters our world, takes part of it around the characters and makes it like this private bubble domain. Like a private bubble universe that follows its own laws. So wherever you are at the start of session 0, that's the area that's going to be taken from Earth and kind of like wrapped in a loop around it.
Okay.
I decided that because we have Wanderlust and dinosaurs, probably this isn't in the middle of a city. So I think that we're going to start off on a highway, and probably Mr. Sadism is traveling home after a business trip.
In my like Tesla car or something.
Yeah, perfect. I didn't even imagine a Tesla car. And Wanderlust, you are whatever you are before you were transformed. Like we talked about you being a actual mode of transportation that will shortly no longer exist. That we
Right.
cannot even imagine. So I don't know how you're going to play something we can't imagine for 5 minutes, but good luck.
I mean, I can do the impossible for 5 minutes. Anybody can.
All right, that's all it takes. And yeah, I'm not
That's the
sure
spirit.
why the power of dinosaurs would be on this road. I thought,
Yeah,
like,
so can I try and throw a wrench in the works a little bit? Because
Sure.
I can never leave well enough alone. So I was thinking, like, as a player, I know a little bit more about the setting and how the game works and so on, because I've played before.
Mhm.
So one thought that I had, and this is totally a consensus thing, is that like the chancel and my power may have been created a little bit ago. Just because that allows me as a player to like reference some of the knowledge that I have. Does that sound okay to you guys? Like I'm okay doing it all together. It seems a little bit easier.
So, all right. Well, last time we had talked about, there wouldn't be an older power.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I'm
you
okay.
wanna
If
change
it
that?
doesn't, I mean, if it doesn't work with what we're thinking, like that's totally fine. I just thought I'm only suggesting it because I thought it would make some things easier. But if it
Okay.
in fact makes things more complicated, I'm totally okay.
I think it makes it a little bit
doing-
more complicated.
Sure. Yeah, no problem.
So we just need a reason for you to be on this road. I thought, there could be a church on this road. There could be a school teaching evolution on this road.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if it's like going through the like the deserts of Utah or something, like I certainly see my guy coming from a rural community more than an urban one.
Okay, yeah. I would imagine it kind of like a state highway, but it could be an interstate.
Mm-hmm.
What do
Is
you
it
guys
in
think?
America? Is that?
It doesn't have to be America. It doesn't even have to be Earth.
I'm okay with it being America. I'm picturing my guy as being that way.
Okay. So, Primark, you okay with traveling through Utah?
Yeah,
All
I
right.
very much am.
Okay. So that kind of gives us like an idea of this like area that was lifted and taken away. Is there any like other features in like the landmass that we want it to be? I think like we talked about there being like not lots of natural resources or important history in the area.
Mhm. No, I mean, like for me anyway, like in your description of the chancel, Golden, that you worked up, there's like very much the feeling of like a central place
Right,
with like out of which these rivers of blood flow, right?
right.
Which I think are literally the like the blood of our imperator.
Right.
Um, what did you have a view of what that like central building looked like or was made from?
Yeah, I think it's like a ruined fortress or castle of some kind.
Okay.
I kind of want like a gothic feeling.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause I'm like imagining like haunted forests around this ruined castle that's like floating on a flying island, maybe.
Right. Sure. I mean,
Um,
this sounds more like New England, like dark forests of New England than it does like Utah, which I'm fine with. Which like that's if that's our
I like
starting
that
point.
actually. Yeah.
Like that's a little bit more Cthulhu-esque.
And I can break out my British accent if I'm British Bruce Wayne.
British Bruce Wayne.
Are we doing England
I
or
can
New
dig
England?
it.
I'm good either way.
I'm good
Okay.
either way as well.
Yeah, I'm fine with whatever area. I mean, once you're into Chancel, like
Mm-hmm.
reality really stops caring too much, so it's not a problem either way.
Right.
So,
Yeah, I can do a British accent.
all right. So we'll say it's out of New England. I think Maine is traditional.
Yeah, Massachusetts, Maine, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
Northern Vermont.
Is there any like like historical thing that you have a personal interest in that happened in New England?
Ooh,
I mean, it's pretty much the birthplace of the revolution, if you want to go that
Okay.
route.
Something that could happen outside of a city, though.
Um,
let's find a New England fort that we
Okay.
can. I mean, well, technically, like when the Chancel is created, the New England fort is taken is ripped out of the history of the world, and history reworks around it. So we actually don't need a historical one, though we could.
Cocatino wants witches.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. Well, okay.
all right, so we want to do like Salem area, that kind of thing.
Maybe like a New Salem that is abandoned in a ghost town. So it's
Sure.
haunted by the ghosts of witches. I'm into that.
Yeah, we definitely have a haunted chancel. So I was kind of thinking about because my guy has a church, obviously, that he ministers at,
Mhm.
that we could rip that church out of reality and turn that into the Gothic fortress.
It has. I want the building to be symbolic of the Imperator's body and
Right,
the
right. Like being chained in one place. So it's more like is it like a prison?
yeah.
Okay, we could do like prison instead of fort.
No, I think fort's good because forts were often used as prisons.
Sure.
Yeah. That's
Okay,
true.
so there's an old fort on a highway in North England, runs by a haunted chancel, and you had a church. Is it like is it Catholic?
Yeah, I think if we're in New England, it's Catholic.
Okay.
But actually, if the fort is the main thing, then right, because my guy has ties to his church after the chancel is created, so I think I may just like be in the area.
Okay. I was also
And my
thinking
church
that
like
the church
is
could
just
just be
outside.
physically ripped apart and parts of it used to construct
Sure.
this fort.
Yep.
Okay, so it doesn't have to be a Catholic church. Maybe it's a Protestant church and you were there to convert them? Or is it your church specifically?
No, because I think like my guy, one of my bonds is or afflictions is that I like tend to my flock. So like
Okay.
I still have a congregation outside of the chancel.
Okay.
So maybe my like if you're cool with this, Golden, maybe the like my home is where the chancel is, and I'm just there in an evening, and the church itself is outside of the chancel because it's not in this like abandoned ghost town, right?
Right. Okay, so your church is outside the chancel.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no church in the chancel. And yeah, maybe you live in an apartment near the ghost town.
I'm fine with that.
Okay. All right, I kind of have an idea now of what our chancel, where it's from. So let's see here in the book, Chancel Creation. What do we gotta actually do?
100 murders.
I don't think you guys have to do the murders.
Yeah, I assume that my guy doesn't.
Right. So this is one of the things where you start to realize that Nobilis' universe isn't very nice. In order to create a chancel, your imperator had to murder 100 people. And they probably didn't do it with their own hand. They just literally just told a story where 100 people got murdered, and from that, the chancel arose. So you guys none of you are from this area necessarily, so maybe you don't know anything about these murders.
I mean, can we tie that into the fact that it's a ghost town, or did you just basically wipe out the town?
So the miracle killed the witches. So not only So the miracle to create the chancel killed the witches living in town. So it's recently abandoned town. Okay. So the way it works is one person dies every day for 100 days in a row. And that gives the forces of evil time to stop it from happening, basically. Okay, what do we gotta do next? Why did my PDF suddenly disappear completely? Here we go. Alright, so it starts on page 245 or 243. The Acrobat Reader is going crazy on me, so I gotta close it.
Okay.
I'll just read that to yourselves for a second.
Okay.
Should we read it out loud for the audience?
Sure.
You want
to start?
I guess I brought it up, so I guess I should. Hey, that seems fair.
And you know what that means.
So, where are we starting from? Entrances and exits?
I think the 243, your Chancel is revisited.
243, got it. Okay, yeah, sorry. During, before, or after character creation, each group of players should design their avatar's chancel, the secret temple world of their imperator. Each chancel is a pocket dimension with its own rules. It starts as a place on Earth, usually a city or city-sized region, but potentially as small as a building or as large as a subcontinent. This place gets wrapped up in the Imperator's magic, estranged from the earth, forgotten by it, and transformed into the kind of world the Imperator dreams up. The paths in and out become fairy paths, difficult to travel unless you know exactly how they work. The people and places of the Chancel warp. They often, but not always, forget who and what they used to be.
Nice. All right, so yeah, we don't have to read it verbatim, and my PDF is working again now. So that's the important part. It gives you an idea of what the Chancel is. The theme, I've already talked about this. I think it's like a very like Arcadian, natural world. The important thing is, how do we get in and out of the Chancel? So we could just say that the only way in and out of the Chancel is to like turn into birds, or maybe there's a little airport that only you are allowed to use. I kind of like the idea that the Chancel got like, the reason why it's no longer accessible from Earth is it's like on top of this massive plateau that rolls out of the ground. But maybe there are like little caves.
I have an idea with Wanderlust. I think you have to like you're traveling down the road and you have to leave the road at a specific place in a specific broad area, and then you have to get lost, and then you'll just find it every time. Yeah, and it's in a very specific place. You have to sort of have it in your mind, like you can't accidentally find it. You have to have it in your head of like, but you don't actually go to it. You just kind of wander around and then you find it.
Sort of a Neverland second star to the right kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So you like get out of your car and get lost? Or are there lots of side roads?
I think it's open to either. I think the first time it was out of the car, but I think that eventually I think it works with a car, but not unless you are open to it and get lost in the right place.
Okay. I'm going to make a new page for this. Just call it Chancel.
Yeah. You'd need like an off-road car to be able to get lost and properly get there. Otherwise your car will not survive.
Oh, you need an off-road car. Perfect.
Yeah, because you get lost. You have to like get lost in like the forest or something. You need something durable.
So did they build a new road after the old road was stolen? Or is this a road that's nearby, like maybe like an old dirt road that's been abandoned for a long time?
I think it's like permanently closed off for a detour. Like it's one of those like road closed forever type of roads.
Right.
And then you go from there is where you turn off of that road and just wander, and then you find it.
All right.
That's great. Like there's like a permanent detour sign, and you have to go past the detour.
Yeah.
And get lost.
So, getting lost near the abandoned road that was closed off when the stolen highway was built. On foot.
Is it 100 murders or 100 deaths?
It says deaths, technically. It says the Imperator has to kill them, technically, but it's the cost is one human life on each of those 100 days.
For 100 days.
Yep.
I mean, I like the idea that, like, rather than being actual murders, there were just 100 people that wandered into this area over the course of 100 days, and each died.
Oh, like someone felt
They
like
all got lost and starved to death over the
oh,
course of 100
it's
days.
typical horror movie. Like their car ran out of gas, and so they went
Right.
like, oh, maybe we'll walk down this town. Oh, I see a town up ahead, not knowing it's the ghost town, and walk to it.
Right. And then they couldn't get out, and then they die over that period of time.
All right.
Sure.
I like that.
All right.
So
So
dangers, yeah,
That sounds like a thing that happens in the New England woods.
probably, yeah.
So it wasn't the witches in town; it was visitors to the ghost town that was murdered. Okay, perfect. All right,
I
so
like
that would
the
be
idea
quite a
that the
good thing.
witches that like the town is abandoned because of the witch trials, though,
Oh yeah,
and maybe there are still
yeah.
still ghosts around.
I mean, like all of these deaths started happening. People started blaming these witches for it because that's what you do when you're in scary woods. You blame the witch when people die.
right.
Right.
Mhm.
Right. Yeah, like maybe the witch trials were like 100 years ago, but the the story that parents tell their children in the area is that there's still like a witch that lives in the woods here.
Maybe there are.
Maybe there's multiple stories.
Yeah.
Mhm. Very possible.
Maybe a TV crew was filming a investigation, and they
Right.
get stolen into the chancel. So you have this TV crew following you guys around, like trying to
Nobilis,
understand.
Blair Witch.
So
Yeah,
good.
Yeah,
They're like
exactly.
documenting the whole thing. They're like, we're gonna be famous.
nice.
No, they're gonna be dead.
All that was ever found were these grainy tapes.
Totally.
So there's actually a section on the first page that says, sometimes people get stolen into the chancel and they become banes. So,
Yep.
hmm
I think. What if there really was a witch and she is now a bane?
yeah, I think that's it too. Investigative reporters. And there is a actual witch.
I mean, the other way that we could angle that is have a witch be like an heiress. So an heiress is like a half power that oversees the realm of the chancel.
Yeah. I mean, I think
Okay.
that's something we could do in play if you guys want to befriend a witch.
Right. Because we're starting at this point where like this is just radically.
Yeah.
It's just happening, kind of.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
So when we start, like session 0, like none of the chancel won't even exist.
Right.
And then
Okay.
it's up to you guys to like find out how this comes to be, or we'll just do like a jump a year later.
It'll- Yeah, we become powers first, and then the chancel becomes a thing. Okay.
No, like it's
Cool.
like at the exact same moment.
It's all the same ritual.
But like, imagine that.
Yeah. But the chancel starts at the same time we become powers. It doesn't finish. It's the start of the 100 days.
Right.
Not
Oh no, it's like
the
it's at the finish of 100 days. So there's
Finish of
100
100 days,
days of
okay.
murders, and then the chancel is formed, and you gain your powder.
Okay. Cool.
Okay, so let's see here. So you guys don't want exits to other dimensions or planets or Russia, right?
I mean, Wanderlust, Zen.
Yeah.
Why don't you talk about this a little bit? Like this is, I see this.
Yeah,
as
I mean-
a thematic area.
I mean, I do have bonds of always knowing the best route for things and stuff like that. So I don't want to say those things don't exist. It's just that maybe they're very hard to find. Maybe I'm the gateway for that kind of thing.
Okay. Yeah, totally. So Wanderlust can create paths to other realms from the chancel. Maybe. Okay. There are rules for that, so it's not too hard. That sounds
Okay.
good to me.
And I can totally complicate that by the fact that I'm easily distracted by other things on the horizon. So we might not end up where we want to be, but whatever.
Let's skip ahead to chancel boundaries. So it says most chancels have a boundary that counts as a level 1 to 5. This is my first time saying this word out loud. Octorius. Octorius is basically a magical effect that counters attempts to change it. One of the examples in the book is a magical earthquake is destroying the road you're on. So instead of the Octorius stopping the earthquake, it puts the road back together as you drive on it, and then the road falls apart again as you pass. So it's basically a magical effect that allows you to continue acting as if an opposing magical effect didn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
So basically the upside is this. The stronger the Octorius, the harder it is for other people to make passageways into your chancel. But also it's harder to sit in your chancel and cast fireballs at the approaching army.
Right. Yeah, it's like a miracle force field. Like our chancellor has one of some level, and then we also as individuals have one.
And it's not one way, it's 2 ways of a barrier.
Yeah.
So you guys get to decide and be as strong or as weak as you want.
How do we choose a number, or do we just describe it?
That's 1 to 5, but you can describe it.
Okay.
And if we can't decide, or if we don't want to think about it, the default number is 2.
Yeah, I was going to say just split the difference with 3 and see how that goes.
Cool.
That is my
All right.
default for most things. Like if you have a choice, make it a middling one.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to say that the border is a little bit stronger than usual.
Yeah.
Which is why it's isolated.
Yep. Okay.
And don't have accidental visitors often.
Right.
Okay, it sounds about right. Let's see what else we got here. So the reason this is important is inside your chancel, you get a 3 MP discount on miracles, which is really powerful. It means
that sounds amazing. Yeah.
You can sit in your chancel if you have treasure 5 and just do 5.
You can cast treasure 8 miracles then for free, right?
It's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous.
Nice.
It's basically You know those stories where God said, "Let there be light"? That's the kind of things you are doing in your chancel.
Awesome.
That's why it doesn't really matter too much where it came from, because very shortly, whatever you and your Imperator decides they want to change, it'll change. Let's see here. Any other cool stuff? Important places of power are gained through the treasure attribute.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want cool things, they have to be part of your character sheet, basically. Okay. And because they're part of your character sheet, they don't have a will of their own. So people's free will is kind of muted inside of Chancel, where you guys are the boss.
Okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you guys saw the start page in Roll20. I took this picture out of a book. It's an example of a battle inside of Chancel, and how vastly different living in a Chancel can be from the real world. So I'll just read this.
Yeah.
In the Chancel of Laurel Clark, One may always choose to sacrifice one's life to save another. This is not magic. This is not a miracle. It is the law of the world. Laurel dueled the Warmane Hyshekia Simonius in the center of her court. Hyshekia's blade hungered for Laurel's life, but could not take it. Each time it plunged into her heart, or chopped away her side, or ripped through her spine, one of the silently watching courtiers stood up and took that death in her place. The Warmane was snarling, hateful, angry, and realizing with horror that it was possible to lose. As for Laurel, I have never seen a woman look so radiant or so beautiful. She was lost in the rapture of it, for Laurel is a power of the dark.
Okay.
So, we get to choose properties for the Chancel the same way we chose properties for the estate, the same way we chose bonds and afflictions.
Yeah.
And I don't really have anything planned for this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's fine.
I can, look at my brainstorming thing and maybe pull properties off of that. But I'm interested to hear what you guys think.
Yeah, I like what you had there, Golden. I like the idea of a primitivist forest, but out of respect for Primarch's techno wizard character, we don't necessarily have to go that route.
No, I think it's actually really good. I like the idea that most of his actual techno stuff is all mundane levels. I think it's all his mortal stuff, like his bonds and his passions and skills. There's nothing to do with his estate, and I like the idea that it kind of falls away when he's here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so something like technology.
Actually, we could. I was going
way?
to say that technology doesn't function. Electricity doesn't function.
So that's why I like this place so much. Damn.
So that's why you can't take a car here unless it's like it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, like actually, if you drive your car off the road at this particular point, your car dies. Like
it's just you have to push it out of the dead zone to get it back working.
So your Imperator's iPad works because
I don't know.
That's the one exception.
Right, our Imperator has an iPod. That's something that we just... Why did they have an iPod? Can you remind me?
I can't remember.
What's going on here?
I don't remember either. I think we just thought it was funny.
Hang on a second. Let me refresh my memory on that. I think there's something niggling in the back of my mind on it.
We're talking about artists.
It was to do with... Oh... It's right there. I just can't grasp it.
Yeah, hang on. I'm looking at the sheet now.
I just thought of a thing. It's technology and modern technology works, but it decays basically really quickly.
Okay.
It just slowly starts falling apart. Things rust really fast.
Right.
And things like that.
Is it specifically because we've established also that things of beauty decay, and I'm wondering if it's just rather than being all things of beauty, it's works of man decay.
Yeah, because this is this world is a time before man.
Right. So every time we leave the Chancellor, we have to come back with an iPod.
How about technology as a form of beauty?
No, it totally would be.
Oh, yeah.
Seen here.
And beauty decays.
Yep, that makes sense.
Beauty decays. Yep.
I like that.
What else we got?
Yeah, what
so
else?
All our primitivist people are ugly because they don't have any technology.
Right.
That's there's some kind of statement we're making about the current landscape of people like us that exist on the internet.
Yeah. Do we want to literally have enormous super dinosaurs roam the land there? Do we want to just say that?
I don't know.
I mean, I do.
Okay.
I am open to that. Like, it's the one place where dinosaurs actually exist fully. Probably bigger than they actually did in real life. Like, it's up to you. But it's like pulp dinosaurs. Just, yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's cool.
Excellent.
What is the dinosaurs' relationship with humanity?
Like here in the chancel or in general?
Yeah, in the chancel.
I mean, I think like the thing about dinosaurs is that there are many different kinds, right? So I think the like some of them have predatory relationships, and then some of them would not. Some of them would just be like, I'm a plant eater, and I eat plants and protect my young. Like I think some dinosaurs hunt people, and some people hunt dinosaurs. It depends on which dinosaur specifically.
Yeah. So I imagine most of the people here would be almost like tribalistic caveman, Far Cry Primal type of dinosaurs.
Right. Exactly.
Like people.
Yeah.
Okay. So no Dinotopia.
And like the Tyrannosaurus Rex will eat the people, but Dinotopia is basically what I'm going for.
Oh, so there is like people like training dinosaurs as pack animals?
I don't know. That's interesting.
How
I'm not getting that. I like that idea, but I'm not getting that vibe from this world. Like the world that we're describing feels more hostile.
Yeah, far more primal than it feels untamable in a way.
Okay.
Yeah. I think untamable is a good world. Is a good word.
Okay, not even untamed, just untamable.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, like that could be a cool property for the Chancel to have. That like just as a rule, things cannot be tamed here.
Oh yeah, okay. So the wild is untamable.
Right.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. But I think also the people like can't be, right? Like I think all of the structures of society maybe break down. I don't know how far we want to take this. Like maybe brute force is the only form of structure that can assert itself here.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of want it to be a little bit more peaceful than
that. Maybe we do. I'm not attached to that idea.
Okay.
How does everyone else feel about that?
One of the properties I suggested was that the Imperator is like the only one that gets to make people suffer.
Mm-hmm.
So
okay,
like I don't think people can express force on each other without her permission.
Mm-hmm.
I had another idea.
Sure.
It's not in conflict with that necessarily, but I was thinking about how to express sadism in this world. The idea I have is that there's sort of there's a physical and emotional dampener on feelings, I think, here, where it's like all of your feelings are muted, for the most part, with the only exception of pain.
Okay.
So you need an intense experience in order to experience anything, that kind of thing?
Yeah. It's
interesting.
Has some connotations about like self-harm and stuff that people would do, but sadism's dark.
No, I like that idea. I like it because it like ties with this like primitive thing where like higher forms of emotion like cannot exist here or have trouble existing.
Yeah.
Right? The only emotions or like feelings or instincts that exist are the like really, really base lizard brain ones.
Pretty much. Yeah. Kill or be killed, and then I think some people like dinosaurs are big. I think some people hunt dinosaurs because they enjoy killing dinosaurs more than the fact that they actually need to eat.
Right.
So I said pain is the only real emotion.
Yeah, I think like everything else is muted. While people are in here, I think everything else feels like you don't feel as happy, as sad as anything. I think actually pain not only just feels the same, pain I think feels stronger here and everything else feels weaker.
Okay.
And we're not just talking about physical pain, right?
Definitely, correct.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Is pain like, so tying this back to sadism a little bit, is pain also the only form of joy that people feel?
It
Or
would make
like, is
sense.
inflicting pain a way to feel joy here? Like, is that, because that can be a physical law of the space, right?
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah, because it is sadism, not masochism. Like,
Yeah, you're
the
right.
infliction of pain is what makes people
Not feeling it, yeah.
euphoric, I guess, would be the best
So I guess,
way
yeah,
to describe it.
I guess feeling pain isn't, I think that's right. I will flip it. Pain itself is muted when you feel it, but you also feel joy from inflicting it. So it's actually much easier to be sadistic here in a way.
Right. Right. Like the
When someone inflicts pain on you, you feel it less sharply, but also when you are inflicting it, you actually feel genuinely like light inside, happy. Like,
right.
yeah.
And there are no other forms of joy, right? Like that's the only form of joy that exists here, because all other
of actual joy, yeah.
Right. Like maybe you still feel hunger, and like lust and things like that, but that's it.
Yeah, but the only time you actually feel fulfilled is then.
This is a damn dark place.
Oh yeah, no, this is I would never want it.
Yeah. So is it our imperators like presence that makes it so? Like the imperator's presence drives out all feelings other than this one. Our imperator's presence forces technology to become a form of beauty to decay. Or is it a property of the chancel?
Like just a part of the world.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's my question, right? Is how are we seeing?
Yeah, is it an imperator and a state thing, or is it just a thing without any reason?
Mm-hmm.
About which statement of the world were you asking us about, or all of them?
Well, this like physical law that says that like all emotions beyond the joy of inflicting pain, and very primitive thoughts are like driven out. And because all of those other things, all of those things that cause beauty to exist, decay, either in the presence of an imperator or in the area of the chancel. And I'm wondering which it as.
So,
or we can leave it ambiguous.
If it's a property of the chancel, does that mean that the imperator is having this inflicted upon it as well?
Oh yeah, she's an agony.
The imperator might.
Because I mean, if it's a property of the imperator, that means that they might be above that. Mm-hmm. But if it's a property of the place, then the imperator is subject to that.
I like the idea of it being a property of the imperator. The imperator created the chancel. I like having a semi-antagonistic relationship with the imperator a bit.
Yeah, and I feel like in my mind, I think we are also like immune to this effect. And so if it is a property of the imperator, is that where we're heading? Then like we are ourselves part of our imperator's soul.
Part of the imperator, yeah.
Right. So like we all have either some resistance or just like outright immunity to this.
Yeah. We might have a resistance. We might have outright. What if we have outright immunity to it within our estate? So I'm immune to the sadism part, but the rest still affects me, like technology and like all of the other stuff. And then you guys are immune to your estate parts of it. But,
yeah, I mean, it doesn't really affect
my. That might be getting too complicated.
My estate is, like my estate is primitive and primal and all of those things. So, like, I'm fine with that if that's how you guys want to play your character. I think that doesn't really change how it plays for my guy.
I think then for simplicity, let's just do we're all immune to it then.
Yeah, that's fair, because I have an estate property of always seeking out new experiences, and if all of those involve beating on people or making them feel bad,
totally. Yeah, I don't want us to end up being the sadism committee. I think sadism is an interesting theme to explore, but I don't think we are all. I'm not seeing all of us as sadists.
Yep. Okay.
Right.
That makes sense.
So I like the idea of you and the Imperator actually being the same being. When you're inside the Chancel, at least.
That's conceptually difficult to put my head around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I
elaborate on that a little bit if you don't mind.
I'm just like, because the way you use these properties are like the same way you would use bonds or afflictions. So it would mean like, if something happened to the Imperator, would happen to you, and vice versa. Like maybe you would each be able to act through each other. Even.
Like we are all anchors for each other within the chancel. Is that what you're saying?
Usually it's
Anchors are
impossible to
totally fine.
have other player characters as your anchor. But if we made it a chancel property, that could be interesting.
What's interesting about it for you? I'm not feeling it, but maybe I'm just not seeing it the same way you are.
Yeah, you two talk about it. To me, it feels too advanced for my first game of Nobilis.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was
All right, we'll let that
feeling
go
as
then.
well.
I mean,
I've played
Golden,
a
if it's
lot
okay
of...
with you, we can also define more chancel properties through play.
Yeah, that's fine too. We could always just add more. I think one more would be good.
Okay.
But like I have, like the idea of like a being with multiple consciousnesses and multiple forms, it's just something I personally have found really interesting for a long time. So it's not an alien idea at all to me. So if you guys haven't put any thought into that, I understand why it might sound confusing.
Yeah, because we'd be the one playing as that entity.
Yeah.
I mean, you could play our Imperator that way, right? Like that could be a property of our Imperator that they inhabit.
They could still
they
have
are free to inhabit other bodies within the chancel because they're wounded terribly.
Yeah, kind of like that. We're walking down, like we're walking in this, like if there are like cave people, we're having a conversation with our Imperator by walking down the street, and a different person says each sentence, but it's the Imperator each time.
Right.
Yeah, we could.
Yeah, that's interesting to me.
We might do something like that. But yeah, let's have one more property about the chancel itself. We've got technology is a form of beauty, and beauty decays. The wild is untamable, which includes the dinosaurs. Inflicting pain is the only source of real emotion. Let's see here.
Hang on, let me pull up some examples of other, because there's a whole list of these.
Are there?
Like, yeah, there's like the properties of the ordinary world and stuff like that.
Oh, you don't get those.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just to give us some examples of like what these look like typically.
Sure.
Okay.
Its locations are relative. Here's properties of the ordinary world. Its locations are relative. Its particulars are measurable. Its particulars are explainable. Its particulars exert causal force. Its events have causes. These causes are impersonal. These causes are amoral. Which is basically that's just describing our reality.
Yeah.
I like the idea of location being undefinable within our chancel.
Yeah.
I would see that, Zen. I would defer to you on this because this is clearly a property of your domain more than others. But I like the idea that it's impossible to orient yourself.
Yeah. Actually, I like that as well.
Yeah, but how does that represent as you're in the chancel? Like, is the landscape constantly shifting, or is it more an expression of the wild just being like Fengorn, where the trees move and you just never know where you're actually at?
Right.
I
mean,
like the latter.
Yeah, it's up to you. I'm happy to leave it to Wanderlust.
They also just say it's non-Euclidean and a mortal mind can't comprehend a way to map it.
I mean,
Yep.
one idea is we could say that the only point of orientation is the fortress, right? Like to get from point A to like you can get to anywhere from the fortress, but you can't get you can get to A from the fortress and you can get to B, but you can't
I
get from A.
thought of another rule. Can we say from the fortress, we can go anywhere in the mortal world? Is that something we can do? Is that like we talked about Wanderlust? We were talking about like in the past we were talking about different. Can you get to Russia from here or something like that?
I mean, it's a
Does it
thing you
open up
can
also?
do, but like usually there's something attached to it.
Okay.
Like last time I played, I had a Chancel where every library in the world had an entrance into our Chancel.
Yeah, and we can define this in a really like fairy tale way, right? We could say the way to get into the chancel is to take a knife bathed in blood and cut a mirror.
Yeah, something
right.
like that.
I'm not sure I'm actually suggesting that for our chancel, but we could say that there's a ritual to open a door to the chancel.
Right.
The risk is that the more points of exit we have, the more points of entry our enemies have.
Okay.
Or you could just say you can exit to anywhere, but you can't come back
That's
that
what
way.
I meant. Yeah, that's precisely what I meant.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it's not two-way. It's yeah.
That's kind of the idea I had with the people can turn into birds and go wherever they want, but there's no way back for them.
Right. Does that apply to us too?
Yeah.
I mean, that's fine with me. I can turn myself into and out of a bird as well.
Yeah, and everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
That's true, actually.
What was I going to say?
So how would we do that? Like turning into birds is an option for getting there.
Just be a natural part of the chancel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like mechanically, one of the properties of dinosaurs, which is my estate, is that they evolve into birds. And because I'm a high persona noble, I can exert that property of my estate onto myself and to others. And so I can, in theory, evolve anybody into a bird at any point.
Okay.
That's gotta hurt.
I mean, we'd have to see how it plays, but we could say that like the skies are coterminous with all skies. That could be a property of our estate.
I think that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Now I have to look at my my persona chart.
One of those like fly up into the sky and through a cloud and you're where you want to be.
Right. Could we have a tie to, actually, this is a thought that I'm having. I'm interested in exploring the cosmology a little bit. Like I'd like to, at some point in play, spend some time in the world Ash, or another world on the Ash.
Oh, does it lead to the Ash itself?
Yeah, could we have a boundary there also? Like I feel like we're becoming a very open thing, but I think which is dangerous, but also interesting. And we know we're not playing for like 200 sessions.
Let me see here.
So,
yeah, I'm all about complicating the crap out of this. So yeah, like even saying that all roads lead wherever you need them would be fine.
Yeah, like all those who wander will find what they seek.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. Totally.
I said there's a secret exit into the border mythic, which is basically there are roads everywhere to everything in the border mythic.
Right.
Good luck finding the secret exit.
Right, like we could wander out onto the sun if we wanted.
Yeah, or to death, or to hell, or heaven. That's how you do it. So let's see, the sky borders with the chancel of birds. Okay. That's something you guys want, right?
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're connected to another domain, another chancel.
Yep.
And we're connected to any road anywhere.
So the properties we have are technology is a form of beauty. Beauty decays. The wild is untamable. Inflicting pain is the only source of real emotion. Once you leave your group, the way back is not the same. And anyone can become a bird, but they must leave.
That's great.
All right.
Yep.
And have we changed how you get back into the chancel?
No,
I don't think so.
It's still just that one point?
just the road. You gotta go back to the road and get lost.
Go.
Right.
Also, you can go back to the road and do some kind of miracle, which is actually pretty easy because your border is only 3. So if we look at your domain chart, difficulty 4, lesser creation, summoning, or animation. So you could do one of those to get back into the chancel.
Oh, we have to do that too?
No, it's a quick way to do it. If you don't want to get lost.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the chancel creation.
I actually have give a person the means to reach their destination, so
There you go.
Perfect.
Just do that.
Right.
Yep.
So let's see here. Let's see. So let's finish characters. That's the only thing. So are you all happy with your estate properties and bonds and afflictions?
You know what? I haven't
I
assigned
think
my
I am.
treasure points to my bonds.
All right, we'll do that in a little bit because I gotta go through that with Zen as well, probably.
Yeah.
I looked at mine and did mine. So it's with the 1 treasure.
All right. So okay, you went with 1 treasure. Yeah. So let's go with Zen. So I don't know. Did you decide? I gave you some dots. The basic idea is you get 8 dots. You could choose to have less if you want something from the gifts chapter. Like you want to be literally immortal. That's the thing.
okay. Yeah, the only problem is I can't move any of those dots right now. I can't even select them.
You change to the. Where is it? What? Where'd they go? Oh yeah, change to the map and background layer.
Yeah, and I'm going to do layer, token layer. There we go. So token layer is the actual character sheet, and then the map and background layer are the dots.
Mm-hmm.
The map and background layer are the dots? Oh, okay. I see. Oh, I get it.
Yep.
All right.
So
I didn't realize that
dot is transparent.
You're right. I didn't realize the dots themselves were transparent. That works. Okay. That works.
And now the red boxes should also be transparent for you?
Yep. I got it.
Okay. So you can change these. You don't have a physical form? Right?
I do not.
So aspect wouldn't make much sense.
How do you communicate now with us? Like, is it similar to how we discussed with like the Imperator Might? Like, do you take the form of objects or other people to communicate?
There's a rule that says all powers of the same Imperator share a communal mind link that pretty much works across distance and all that.
So you could just be an invisible force that you can telepathy with.
Yep.
Yes.
If you would like to possess some animal, thing, person, or give such
That's
a
why you have
thing the
5
ability
treasure.
to speak, you may do so.
Mhm.
Okay. And would I need to add anything to this sheet for that to be easier or harder to do?
Nope.
Okay.
I don't think you have any domain properties related to communication anyway.
No, I don't.
The only real question is, would you rather apply your estate properties to yourself or create wanderlust in others or use wanderlust to accomplish goals?
No, I think it seems easier to just apply it to myself.
Okay, well that would be a persona then. So,
Okay.
we'll just move that down there. And we'll give that a shot. I gave you a domain of roads because I thought you might want to be able to make roads, but apparently you don't want to actually make things. You just want to affect the relationships between things. Maybe you don't want roads.
I don't know. That does seem very useful for Wanderlust to be able to create roads.
Okay. Well, here's what we'll do. We'll give you 2 persona and 1 domain, and then you can still create roads.
That works.
And you can also create Wanderlust too, just not as well. You still have aspect points you can use. So if you manage to bend your mind in such a way that you can figure out how to punch somebody as Wanderlust, you can. Maybe you're like in physical combat with some other concept. I don't know. You're having concept fights.
Yeah, it's my job to fight the non-corporeal.
Yeah.
Yep. Just as a tire from off screen hits them in the head or something. It's like something crazy.
An aspect also applies to like feats of mental.
That's true. I didn't think of that.
Right, so you have a brain, so you can outthink things. And then if you are inhabiting another body through your treasure thing, like if you're inhabiting an anchor, you can use miracles of aspect normally, I think.
Oh, I didn't think of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So if you have an anchor, and you probably do because you're a ghost, or like a spirit thing, and you probably want to have somebody in the physical world who you are connected with as a bond. That allows you to, if you are inhabiting their body in order to act through them in the actual world, you can just cast miracles normally. And I think you are high treasure, right?
Yeah, it's mixed.
Yeah, I mixed that up. All right, so you have pathfinding and persuasion as your skills now?
Yep. Yeah, I just need to figure out passions because this is a bit high concept for what I'm used to. So
you said there was another concept you had a relationship with?
Was there?
Yeah.
It sounds familiar.
I don't know, 2 weeks and a lot of stuff in between. I tend to forget a lot.
I'll try and rewatch it, but I don't think you said what it was, and I have no idea what it was. So,
let's see if I wrote anything down here. Oh, change. I have a noble ally of change.
Okay.
That's what it is.
Do you want a passion related to change?
Yeah, that sounds good.
what do you want change to do? Or what do you want yourself to do because of change?
I think I think there's some part of Wanderlust that wants to have some control over change. Like, change is a good thing as long as you can mold it to your desires.
Okay. I like that passion. Oh, you want to dominate change?
I don't know if dominate's the right word.
I mean, you want to control them, right?
Or coerce, I guess. That seems more fitting with the
Okay.
with how I envision this.
All right, so you want to coerce change into just doing what you want?
Being, like, submissive to you?
Do you want to make change your anchor?
That would be interesting.
Yeah,
Sure.
Make that a passion.
Try that. I want to make change my anchor.
And then change would also become part of Wanderlust if you succeed in doing that. Alright.
So passions are sort of beliefs, right? If I'm reading this correctly. All right. Now I'm in familiar territory. I'm fine.
Okay.
Oh, it's just Burning Wheel. It's not as complicated.
Yeah, that's fine.
I never thought I'd say that.
Burning Wheel.
Okay, you can just, it's Burning Wheel where you're
Great. Now
rolling.
I'm totally confused.
Yeah. Where you actively engage your beliefs in the mechanics of the game to succeed at them.
Yeah, I need one other passion. Does anybody else have a suggestion for another passion for Wanderlust? Because I've been racking my brain trying to figure stuff like this out. I just kind of drawing a blank.
What did you want to do before you became Wanderlust?
I mean, I don't think there was anything.
You just had
else
no
other than wandering.
Well, it could be something that I don't think it has to be like a goal. Just something that you desire. And so it could be like
right,
almost like going with the flow, like passion, adapting to
almost like an instinct instead of a belief.
Right.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
like you could have passion comfortable anywhere I am.
Yeah.
That works. Okay.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Good. We're there.
All right. So we just got to finish your bonds. You get 5 more because you have treasure of 5. These are all bonds. And they are things that are yours. What do you want to interact with the world with or through? Like you might have a bond with travelers. Then you could, have a connection and use travelers to do what you want. You might want to bond with like finding secret places or some kind of animal. Are you really into mice or cockroaches? Are taken, but
I need some migratory, I think.
That's good.
Like we've got birds covered already, or I'd suggest that.
Monarch butterflies?
Ooh, yeah.
That's good.
Sure.
I'm looking up a list of migrating land animals. wildebeests do. Bisons do, like there's
Yeah.
zebras do.
Yeah, any large
Penguins
pack
do.
animals. Penguins?
Yeah, they swim like from the Arctic up north to like southern Australia and South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Whales.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I mean, you could have it be right. Like you also
just migrating animals.
yeah.
could
You
you-
could
could
have like
you-
I protect migrating animals, or I must protect migrating animals, or I must
Yeah.
protect the paths of migration.
Yeah,
I like that one.
that one. Yeah,
There we
Which
go.
makes it kind of a duty, I think.
Yes,
yeah, and it's less about the actual animals themselves and more the wandering.
Is there any inanimate things your character
Yeah.
would
Are you like an enemy of sloth or something? An enemy of something like that?
Hmm.
Or an enemy of deep-rooted things?
Yeah, I mean, stagnation, definitely. Like,
Mhm.
are you an enemy of limited access highways?
I mean, are we trying to create like as part of mechanically is something that we're trying to do here to enable Zen to have anchors?
yes.
Right. And so in order to have an anchor, Zen, you need to have a bond like with a specific thing. Is that
No.
that right, Golden?
You can have a bond with a group of things.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I don't
do
think
we have a thing
stagnation
that
really
you can
works.
inhabit as a body?
Yeah, he can inhabit any traveler.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is, it takes you time to pick one. It'll take you hours, or because it's travelers, possibly days to pick a traveler. And then you would. The way that's described is like developing a relationship with a specific instance of that group.
Okay. So having it be a very specific person takes less time, I'm guessing.
Yep.
Okay.
But you can have
Okay.
travelers and a specific person that you like as your
Mhm.
avatar.
You have both.
Like maybe you have a specific
Yeah.
monarch butterfly that you like to inhabit.
Yeah, like the classic bond would be something like, I love my wife. And then you can make your wife an anchor.
I think enemy of stagnation is weird.
It's just a placeholder right now.
Right.
I need to figure out a better way to put it in there, but
Mhm.
One thing I was thinking of, you may be an enemy of the home. Or the hearth, or obligations. A specific obligation.
Obligations are pretty. Yeah, obligations are
yeah, that
Very
fits with the freewheeling nature. Like, can't be tied down.
Like you'd be an enemy with contracts, and then you can wield contracts as your weapons, which is kind of scary.
If you have a specific person in mind, I don't know if it wouldn't be a wanderer though. I was thinking a trucker, but they usually would drive with a specific destination in mind, like maybe delivering stuff.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Is like, I don't know. Maybe there's just
Well,
some,
is
like,
there a specific guy who actually like wanders around near near where we would be?
Yeah, you can have a Colonel Jack O'Neill, who regularly goes to other planets. You can have Tracer, who's a time traveler.
But yeah, you could have like
It could even be other powers.
Oh yeah, the ultimate wanderer would be a time traveler, time
That's
wanderer.
true.
Like somebody who is themselves unhinged from time. Though I
Yeah.
don't know, that could get super complicated in play.
I mean, yeah.
But someone who's effectively the Doctor.
Yeah, I was just gonna say bonded with the Doctor.
Yeah, you can do that.
I mean, that is the ultimate wanderer.
Yeah,
so.
it is.
Yeah.
Or what's the other one? The teacher, Miss Frizz.
Miss Frizzle.
Yeah, Miss Frizzle.
Oh,
From
from
high
the
school.
Magic School Bus.
Yeah.
Who's the? There's a weird one. It would take me forever to look this up. I can't even figure it. Google it. But there's a short story about somebody who is like stuck in one place but unhinged in time, so they don't travel like physically.
Oh.
They just travel in time in like one place, and so they see like London over a period of years, like
Yeah.
over a period of centuries. It's just an idea. I don't know if I'm actually suggesting that.
Let's see if there is credits for The Visitor, which is the that same story has been redone many times in Star Trek.
Right. I mean, Trek, the power of the estate of Wanderlust may, like at the beginning of play, may not have any bonds with specific people, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I do like the idea of having some specific person, some
Sure.
and what comes to mind is like some Bedouin type person that just wanders from place to place.
Right.
But unfortunately,
Yeah.
in the wilds of North America, there aren't that many examples of those type of people, hippies.
I mean,
but
you could have a bond with, like hobos, right?
Yeah.
We might
That would
need
still be a group of people, but yeah.
yeah.
Just
So
give them a
I
name.
can just name a person, and they are whatever I say
Yeah.
they are.
Yep.
So yeah.
This, like, I imagine this, if it is a hobo, it's like a really old one who's been wandering basically like for most of his life.
Well, thankfully, Rum and Monkey has a hobo name generator, so I'm going there.
Really? Wow. That's so racist.
I like the idea of having something that ties us like outside of North America as well, because I think both Primarch and my characters are pretty local. Like mine is super local, and Primarch, I feel like you're like, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I feel like your guy's like a Silicon Valley tech entrepreneur guy.
No, yeah, precisely. I have a picture I found. I googled Wandering Man. This is the first picture, and I like it if it was like this guy is what he looked like.
Oh, neat.
Oh yeah, that's good. I like it.
Yeah, give him a name. How about immigrants?
Migrants, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just need a decent name.
So is the wandering man still in the world, or has he become trapped in the chancel?
He's still in the world. I think he's definitely the physical form that I prefer when I'm outside of the chancel.
Okay.
Are you a person who like provides for people who wander? Like, do you make sure wandering is prosperous for them, or do you not care whether or not people like die of starvation while wandering?
Oh yeah, it's a mortal concern.
Okay.
I just want.
I thought so. Perfect.
Oh, just stick this in. All right, so it looks like I need. You said I had 5, and is that 5 points or 5 bonds?
5.
Okay.
I mean, technically it's 5 points, but you're intended to use them for different things.
Okay.
For your anchors.
Let's see here. Oh, okay. Steps 3, is 2, my persona is 2, my treasure is 1.
You'd also be bonded with like a specific place.
I was thinking of being bonded with something like road signs or something like that, like directional markers.
That's a little bit vague, but yeah, some kind of road sign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no,
Landmarks.
even better. Those shitty roadside attractions. You know, those places, the biggest ball of twine, the largest rocking chair, that kind of crap.
Tourist trips?
Road trip attractions. Yeah. Not really. Yeah, road trip attractions.
Yeah. I think that's the roadside attraction is definitely a thing that Wanderlust likes to see, because it keeps people moving. Like, we got to go see the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, you know?
All right.
Yeah.
So we have targets, but we also need to know what your relationship with them is. So, like, your previous one was like, you had a relationship with containment. Your relationship was, I cannot be contained. So we got to write it like that for all of these. So we have travelers. I guess it's something like aid travelers in their journey. But I mean, that kind of thing is kind of weird, because maybe like you have to have like we have to do a specific instance of that, right? So when do you aid travelers in their journey?
When they stop moving.
Okay, yeah. So aid travelers who have stopped their journey.
That's so good. I love that.
Yeah.
I must protect the paths of migration. How do you protect them?
I think by ensuring that there are no roadblocks in the way, like.
Okay. So remove roadblocks in the paths of migration. Sounds good. Enemy of obligations. What exactly do you do that obligations hates?
I think I make people forget their obligations.
Oh.
That is awesome.
Are you just friends with the Wandering Man?
Yeah, I think if this was a fantasy thing, he would be like my high priest. Like
So you help the Wandering Man when he calls?
Yeah.
Roadside attractions. I guess you always visit them.
Yeah, well, I think Yeah, I think I cause people to visit them and keep moving to the next one. Like entice people to the roadside attractions.
What entices them?
I mean, that's hard to explain. We've all been on road trips and we've seen that sign for whatever the hell is on the way. Like
I mean, I've been to the corn maze once, and then we went 4 more times, and I don't ever want to go again.
Yeah, but I think I inspire that feeling of curiosity.
Okay.
Like
feeling of discovery.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, you can do that with your magic skills, so that's fine. You can just make people feel good. All right. I think your character sheet is done.
That's it.
So, I think everybody is done.
I think so.
Do you have a lot of 0-point skills and passions, Primark?
I have 2 0-point passions. That's it.
That's totally fine.
Yep. So I have, I spent my last character points after I got 8 points into my, traits, or whatever you call them, aspect of manifestation of treasure, and then my last point I spent in passion skills and superior attributes, to get some extra points to put in.
Yeah, okay, that's why you have so many. Alright.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
Cool.
I figured he is prioritize. He was a, let's call it, he was quite the mortal. So, I figured putting more points into that area would be good.
Yeah. Oh, there is one more thing we have to do. This is how you get XP in the game. So we should pick 2 things about your character that you don't know as a player, but you want to find out.
Oh.
And
create questions?
Yes.
Oh, I like this.
Yeah, so these are TC-oriented stakes questions, basically.
Right. And you also have 2 things you want to accomplish in character. And these are epic things, like...
What are projects? I heard something about those.
Yeah, these are projects.
These are projects, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. The projects are in-character goals?
Mm-hmm. Okay. And they are not like, I want to... Let me give you some examples.
They're meant to be big or small?
They're meant to be very big.
Yeah, I've got one at an appropriate scale. If I can throw that. Yeah, so I only have 1 right now, and if we need 4 to get started, I can think up some more. But the one that I have is the story of how I met God.
Yeah.
That's your question?
This is project.
Yeah, it's my project. I mean, the question is how did Phineas Monroe meet God? But
so projects are both the in-character goals and the questions? It could be either? Or
yeah, they're both. They're all projects, but some projects should be about yourself. Some should be about your goals.
Okay. I see.
Something becomes a project when you want it to change your character's story, or to be a story that someone will tell of your character long after they are gone. Something becomes a project when it is your desire to construct a myth, to build one with the force of destiny, acting as your avatar, or as a movement of their destiny within them. Something becomes a project when it's impossible, or at least unlikely. Something impressive and scary, even for a power in this world. Examples: how I labored to save the souls that burn in hell. How I moved the heart of an excrucian to love. How I grew from pawn to baroness of my estate. Or how I built a zoo of the rarest creations from all of creation and the lands beyond. Those are pretty epic. And they are basically you can basically imagine them as projects in the Blaze in the Dark sense.
Okay.
You will definitely complete them eventually.
Okay.
In fact, there's a little running joke that the most common way of completing a project is by failing at every step of the way.
Excellent. So, when creating a project, it's not. I don't create it like a typical stakes question, like will or won't my character get his old life back? If I make him getting his old life back a project, he will do that eventually.
You will do it eventually. Unless you abandon the project, which you are allowed to do.
Yeah.
There's also no limit to the number of projects you can have at any time. But we're encouraged to abandon them if we're no longer interested in them.
Okay. Then I will probably do mine last, because I need to think about mine.
Okay.
So, I have an idea. It's sort of the antithesis of Wanderluck, but how something along the lines of how Trek found a home, like someplace that he sort of wants to stay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just say that. That's your project. It's perfect. So we'll make yours in a big giant circle and put that in the same way we did with the life paths. Hold on, let me get my giant circles. Where's my giant circles? Uh-oh.
Lost the giant circles.
How did I lose the giant circles?
That's right, I'm copying one from the life path page.
Yeah, you can use those.
So 2 personal and 2 epic is basically how we're doing this, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And I want to make change my anchor is also a good project. It can be both. So if you have a passion or a bond or affliction you want to see completed, it's totally fair as a project.
Right. So putting change in there, yeah, good idea.
Primarch probably wants to build something.
That's true, actually. That didn't actually occur to me. Oh, that would be a thing. Okay. I thought of a thing. I thought of a big thing.
We're also mentioning about stop being a noble.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like Primarch, you had talked about wanting to make your family nobles as well.
Yeah, one of those two.
Right.
Should be a project. I could have a project that says understand and master the burning wheel.
That's just no one will ever accomplish that.
Yeah,
that's like an aspect
12
miracle.
No, I mean the rules say you will succeed at these projects by failing. So that's what Luke Crane says.
Literally Luke Crane.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm scrapping this character. I'm now making Luke Crane my.
Yes, the Nobilis of role-playing games.
Yeah.
You can have a bond with Luke Crane. He can be your anchor.
See, I'm not. If I made it a second Nobilis character, I'm not tempted. I have like brain in the jaw robot character or Luke Crane. Which would be better?
I mean, Luke Crane's brain in a jar is the answer to that question.
You're totally right.
What about
just like
if we
a literal role-playing game machine?
we could surgically put Luke Crane's brain in a dinosaur?
That's true.
Yes. And then
we have the technology. Wander. Well, specifically, Primark has the technology, and he can build it.
Yes, I can build it. So my first project is how I use technology to ascend my family to Nobilis.
Ooh, so good.
And yeah,
that's fantastic.
Certainly not doing that in the Chancel.
Nope.
That'd be.
I have some ideas. Horcruxes, splitting one's soul. Definitely not a bad thing.
No, couldn't be. It worked out for that one guy.
Yeah. No, he should have been dead, and he survived for like 17 more years.
All he did was lose a nose.
There's totally not a part of the book that tells me what to do if you just do that.
I love that. That's good. Golden, I don't think I know enough about the world right now to know what my guys' other projects are. Are you okay if I establish
that's fine.
The remains based on what we're doing?
Yeah.
What else?
Although, ironically, your projects are kind of in line with what I had thought of.
So since our Imperator is crippled and can't move, can one of my epic projects be getting his lazy ass out of that chair?
Yeah.
So good.
All right. What's his name again? Her name again? Its name again?
Their name again?
Like a they.
It is Umaya.
Non-binary.
Though I'm totally going to call Umaya her on accident, so.
Yeah.
Umaya, okay.
It's because I think of devils as female for some reason.
That's not sexist at all.
Especially not when devils are the nicest form of Imperator. No.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're definitely the most personable.
Mm-hmm.
I just realized how awesome devils are when it comes to sadism. Like, devils always hurt you.
Yeah.
I mean, if you tell them not to hurt you, they won't hurt you, but they forget.
Yeah, exactly. Their natural form is to hurt you. That could be a thing.
Golden, could we take a quick break and then?
Yeah,
I would
do that.
Yeah, probably a good idea.
I'd like to.
We don't need a full 4 each, do we? To start?
No.
Because maybe we could take a quick break, come back, introduce our characters
and then
fully, and then do the
that's what I want,
or whatever it's called, commencement.
That's what I want. I was just waiting while I looked up some stuff, but yeah, we can go on break, and when we come back, we'll start role playing.